Sharp talk time, people. This is where I bring real people that have done transformations and amazing transformations. And I get a chance to ask them how they did it, what made them did it, and what trials and tribulations that they had to go through. And I've got here on the scene, good friend, as well as sparring partner, Mikael, in the room right now.
Yo, what's going on, man? You say, Mike?
I'm blessed.
Cool,
right,
cool.
Let me give you a little bit insight to this guy, okay? I've known him for a long time, and I know that he's been an athlete where he's played basketball. We've had some battles in the past. Also, I know that he's when he gets focused, his guy gets very, very focused, and he's had an amazing transformation. One of the best transformations I've seen and been involved with in a short period of time. And I'm here to ask him some questions about, what got him started. And I remember the first phone call that we had, and he was like, Mike, you know what? He was going through some things, and he was like, Mike, what should I do? And I was like, yo, you need to focus on yourself. And all of a sudden he went off, and he came back, and he started asking me questions about the gym, and he really got into it. And, a lot of the times people come to me for advice, and I give it them, and they go off, and I never hear from them again. But this guy made a big difference. He went off, and then he came back, and he had grown even more. And then when I see him again, I was like, damn, he's really putting the work in, but not just with his body, also with mindset as well. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Mikael. You know what I mean? And he's going to explain his story.
Oh, damn.
So where should we start, Mikael? Because on this story,
I don't know. I feel like there's quite a few. It's like different chapters in a way. You know what I mean, the journey wasn't just about fitness. It started from, like you said, that conversation where I was just going through tough times. You know what I mean? And I think it really was just born from then. You know what I mean? We used to just chat and catch up and reason all the time. And this conversation was no different to the rest, except I was like, I really want to do something about it. So.
Yeah, and you know how it is. A lot of people talk about this thing. There's things that they want to do in their life, and they're like, I need something. I need to do something. What brought you to that point where, was it the age thing? You got to a certain age where you were like, you know what? Did the feelings go? Do you know what I mean? What was it?
Yeah, you know what? There was just two things, two major things that made me think to myself, I really want to do something about A, how I'm feeling, and B, how I actually look. Do you know what I mean? I think at the time, I was 42 at the time, and not long before that, a really good friend of mine, mega stressed, he's a DJ, and he got me into music and showed me certain things within music. And I remember he passed away, and it was quite sudden, and he just hit me by surprise. I was just, you know what I mean? He was one of the nicest guys, very humble, great attitude, just interested in his music, and just did him. And but I never really thought about well, you could be, the upstanding guy in the community. Everyone knows you and respects you for what you do, but then when your times come, it's just that's it. And it just made me think to myself, well, I wonder if there's anything that could have been done if he was I don't know, what was it that made him not be able to withstand the medical problems that he was going through. And I was just thinking to myself, damn, that's really tough. And that was one of the reasons what made me think about, well, how can I sort of build my body up to the point where I can fight off whatever needs to be fought off, as much as I possibly can.
Okay.
And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to sort of just focus on eating better and training as well. Okay.
So just like a lot of people out there, it's always something pinnacle happens in their life. Somebody passes away who they really know and they really respect. And then you start to look at your life, and, you looking at your life was what things? Because you put something up where I thought, wow. You put on something on Instagram, because I know right now you want to help people to understand if they want to make the changes, these are the things. And some of the things that I've seen that you created with the habits was, you used to watch Netflix, am I right?
Oh, yeah. Everyone watches Netflix, you know what I mean?
And what was the switch between Netflix
I think that didn't come till later, by the way. So this was, I'm still guilty. I was still guilty up until quite recently of just rinsing Netflix marathons. Like I would watch a whole series. I'm sure me and various people in your training group that I've attended, we spoke about certain shows and programs. Like, yeah, I need to watch that still, But yeah, that still happens. But I've been through like Netflix binges where on days off, where I've got like significant amount of time, free time, I'll be spending all of that time like trying to finish the episode and trying to get through the next episode. And I could have actually been utilizing my time a lot more productively. And, that's not to say you can't, we're all human. We want to sometimes have rest time, but I think there's extremes of these things. And when you're at one end of the extreme, something can impact you negatively, and the other end of the extreme can have a complete positive effect and total transformation in how you see and how you utilize your time. So yeah, things like Netflix, the food we eat, TV consumption, social media consumption, procrastination, all of these things can work both ways.
Yeah. And I'm gonna share some of them with you guys in the audience so you can hear. He's got like Netflix marathons. He switched it for more sleep. And I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, the sleep thing. I don't watch Netflix as much, but I'm still not sleeping as much.
All right. I like this one. And fast food for home cooking.
Yeah, like facts, 100%.
Yeah? He's got toxic friends for mentors. Boom! I thought, he's got, do you know what I mean? He's got blame to responsibility. So that's taking ownership. And a lot of people don't take ownership for their, I feel like saying the wrong word, but, beep. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah. It's tough to do that. You have to be your own worst critic. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Be harsh to yourself. It's not easy to do, especially when you got a bit of it. You might have a bit of an ego. You got a bit of pride. You don't want to feel like, I'm just, I'm losing. I'm dropping my guard down. But there are times when you do have to be accountable and say, do you know what? Whatever the situation is, where was I at fault? Like, where could I have maybe improved? Where could I have been a bit better? And
but just you taking responsibility for that. And you got over the other side. How does that make you feel? Because I don't think the audience, some people don't really take responsibility for their actions, and they're leaving it to like it's whatever, it's to thin air and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you know what? It's when it's done correctly, when it's done the right way, and when you sit and meditate and think about it for a while, it has such a massive impact, and it's something I'm still learning to do now, but I'm way more mindful of it. As an example, I used to always complain about and not see how much effort I'm putting into, say, at work in my 9-to-5 job, right? So I work in a really busy industry, tons of hours. Just it can be quite stressful, and if you're not like speaking up and being like seen and being present, you feel like sometimes you're being overlooked. And what I had to start doing was, rather than look at, I'm being overlooked or no one can see the value in what I'm bringing, I just thought, just switch that around. I'm gonna outwork everybody. You know what I mean? Or not outwork everybody, but I'm going to work to the point where I'm at full potential, full capacity. I'm gonna do more hours, stay a little bit longer to get the thing right that I'm working on, and see if that makes a difference. For a few months, actually a bit more than a few months, maybe half a year to a year, I did that. And it did make a difference. It didn't change immediately, but number one, I could see that my efforts, like what I was bringing to my role, was making a difference. And then, eventually you then get different opportunities with what you're working on, maybe in your job or outside of your life. And you take this mentality away from just the workplace, and you will soon realize that you get results when you take accountability. It's just a matter of fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you also did that in the gym, right?
Oh, that's exactly the reason why it all works. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Which one came first? Was it gym or at work, or was it both, or what?
Well, the work thing was a thing for a while, and I was building up to that. But I thought to myself, if I can do it with work, there's no reason I couldn't carry that into the gym. So that probably happened not too far away from each other. Do you know what I mean? Like that whole mindset change.
Just give the audience a little bit background from where you've come from to where you are right now. And like, let's look at like in the sense of, we'll look at like your strength goals. So where you're at right now, when you started, okay? Because you said some things about you become that person in the gym. Like you used to look at those people and be like, wow, how they like get like that?
Yes,
Because before you were lifting pencils, right?
yeah, I was. I don't even think I could lift a pencil.
Yeah, now he's lifting iron. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. Geez, yeah, I guess, you know what? Let's going back to right at the beginning of my journey. Let's say this is after the phone call. This is after I've spoken to you. This would have been sometime in September. So yeah, spoke to Mike sometime around September. Actually, before that, I was speaking to my wife. I was saying, you know, I don't really know what to do, but I want to make a change. She was already in the gym. I hated the gym at this point. So September 2022, I was not a fan of the gym. I didn't care for the gym. I'd never stepped foot into a gym. I enjoyed being outdoors. I liked going hiking, riding mountain bikes, or playing basketball. That's how I used to get my fitness. She used to go to the gym, but was sort of like on and off. Her relationship with the gym was on and off, but she was going, and I just didn't see the impact. I was like, just do home workouts, you know, just do. She's like, nah, I need to be in the space. I didn't get it. So I was like, okay. So fast forward, I had that conversation with her. She was like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to change myself. Watch, you all see. I was kind of making a promise. I almost took it personally, like, oh, no one believes me. Like, okay, watch. But I'd said that before. So obviously, no one's going to take me serious.
Yeah.
So I found out what I needed to do. I've looked at Pure Gym. I've looked at the app. I've gone, oh, cool, you get an app and everything. It's even got training programs built, you know, and customized for beginners, because I was an absolute beginner. As a matter of fact, I was probably at the level before the beginner because I didn't even know what workouts were called.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like how basic it was. So I'd made the leap anyway. I'd paid my money and I'd signed up for this this membership, direct debit. I was like, okay, you know, I'm spending money here. Like, this better be good. And I got into the gym. The first day I think I got in was like the second week of September. And I went into the gym. I looked a bit sheepish. I looked around. This was the one in West Bromwich. So it's a pretty decent size. And the equipment's spaced out. So you get in and you're first greeted with loads of treadmills, which is right in front of you. And then further as you go into the gym, you get to the machines and you get to free weights. And on the left, there's like a studio. I didn't even know, like, where to go first, like, as in physically where to go. So I went into the middle and I thought, you know what, like, as if it was basketball, I'm going to warm up. So I do a regular warm up, which I'm comfortable with. That's all fine. And then I put my phone down on the floor and I'm sitting on the mat doing stretches and I'm like, I ain't got a clue. What do you do? Like, I clearly did not think this through, do you know what I mean? But I knew I needed to be here.
Yeah.
So I've opened the app and I've looked at some recommended workouts. These are very like generic workouts with just someone giving you a quick overview of what the exercise looks like. I was like, do you know what? This can't be a bad place to start. So I look around me and I see people working out. I'm absolutely like, I'm kind of shitting myself because like they look like they know what they're doing. And I just don't. So I was completely uncomfortable. I didn't have any confidence. And it was a completely new experience to me. That was what the beginning of my journey looks like.
Yeah. And do you know, I suppose it can relate to a lot of people. You know, walking into a gym, new environment, everyone knows what they're doing, and you look totally lost. And you're like, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's scary.
And you made a big thing about no confidence.
Oh nah, there was definitely a lack of confidence there, in particularly in that arena anyway. So yeah, that's never a good thing.
Yeah. So what made you move towards strength training?
Okay, so I guess after I've been at Pure Gym, let's say I've been going for a few weeks, and I tasked myself with going. I think in the beginning I was going like 2 to 3 times a week, and I was thinking, oh, this is great. I'm training a lot. I was going for 2 to 3 weeks, and by this time I got a little bit more comfortable following the videos. So I had a mixture of the workouts I was doing was sort of like full body workouts. So I didn't know anything about splits. I didn't know anything about targeting upper, lower. I didn't know anything about that. I was just following these videos, and they were, like I said, a mixture of full body. So I'd gotten comfortable doing those, and I just felt like this is good, but something is not happening that I would like to happen. So this is after about a month, let's say about 8 weeks, and I'm like, oh, I can see or feel a bit of change, but I'm not seeing a lot. So I started to do a lot more research. By research was looking online. I would again call you and ask for advice. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And that's when you asked me, well, what are you targeting? What do you want to achieve? I says, well, I want to be stronger. I want to build, physical mass. Yeah. And I'd like to lose weight on my stomach. He's like, obviously, we get that question a lot. How do you lose weight on your stomach and get your abs to show? You can't target the weight. You can't target the weight loss there. You just lose weight and the rest comes. It's like, you sure? Can't I just do press-ups, sit-ups? Nah. You gotta do food. And then that was a new area. I was like, wow, so now I have to worry about food. It was just getting really complex. Anyway, fast forward, and I've taken all of that in. I've done tons of research by this point. So I think by October, I was going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, and I had a small program which needed refining that focused on push, pull, and legs. So this was after me reading tons of fitness blogs, reading lots of fitness blogs, and watching tons of videos and asking lots of questions to people like yourselves, people who are already training and had the knowledge there. And I came up with a really nice series of exercises that focused on push, pull, and legs. And I did that for 6 months solid.
So there it is, 6 months solid, no break, sticking to training about 4 times?
4 to 5 times.
4 to 5 times per week. And I'll be honest with you, I remember seeing you before, and then I didn't see you for a couple of months, and then I seen you and I was like, hey, he's taken that advice and he's rolled with it. And I was like, his arms are shaping. I was like, his body's changing. And at that time, you didn't realize that there was changes actually happening.
Nah, I didn't really. I just didn't notice at all. I just thought this is not enough. I'm gonna need to do some more work. You know what I mean? But no, it was a good start. I felt a lot better. Definitely confidence in the gym was building up. I could go in and not look at videos while I'm training.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. If anyone else has been through the same experience, how belittled do you feel going into the gym and sort of putting your phone next to you, watching the video while you're trying to use the equipment? So there are times where I'd hide the phone and try to, cover it up so people couldn't see that I'm learning on the job.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was like. It was like you're an apprentice and you're learning on the job.
I like that. Okay. So everyone knows about where you started from and where you're at right now, and we're looking at strength. When you started, do you remember anything when you had to, we'll use chest for example, because I know that you do dumbbell chest press.
Yeah.
So starting off, what was you lifting at the beginning?
Oh, wow. I think on dumbbell chest press, I was probably going to pick up, I think I was started on 14 kg, 16 kg.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know, he was on 14, about 16 kg. Now, in a year, I think it's about a year now, so it's taken to you about a year?
Yeah, after about a year of training, yeah.
A year of training, he is now on?
So I'm currently able to dumbbell press 50 kg fairly comfortably now.
There it is. So 14 to 50 kg. So that shows how much he is growing in. What's that in percentage? That's do you know what I mean? That's 100 and something plus percent in strength.
It's just a decent increase, isn't it?
Yeah, but
huge. The craziest thing is, regardless of whatever the number is the actual belief at the time was that I would never be able to lift this weight because all of the people around me who was in the gym I was watching, And people who had inspired me as well. Seeing what they were lifting, I didn't think I would get there, and I certainly didn't think it would be in that time. Do you know what I mean? You sort of look when you sit down on that bench, when you're in the gym, and you look to your left, you look to your right, you see people who are either at the same place as you and they're going through the same journey, or you see people who just look like they've been on this journey for a long time, or you're like, I will not reach. I don't think I'll ever reach that. And just sort of being amazed by seeing somebody pick up 30, 36 kg dumbbells and bench press them. I was like, yo, this guy's strong. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll never get there. And then sort of like fast forward 12 months or so, and I'm the same guy lifting like 36, 38 kg and not realizing or remembering. Sometimes you bring yourself back and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is full circle, because I'm now at this point lifting these weights. And all it was just consistency and showing up every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And initially of that conversation we had like a year back, and you were saying about you want to work on your stomach and the rest of it, you've now got abs.
Yeah. The abs have come back like I'm 16 again.
Okay. So there it is. Okay. Body fat's been taken down. Plus you've got more of a muscular body. You know, your arms are out. There's a lot more cuts. Mentally, how are we feeling on the stage of mentally of that person? So if you could go back in time, okay, to that person and look at that person you was back then and give yourself some advice.
What would I say? To myself? Oh, well. I would probably say going back to that point in time, I think you have to remember that what you're seeing in another person is achievable because they're only human. You know what I mean? You can definitely idolize and think to yourself, oh, this person's like amazing, what their journey is amazing, but we all just human beings. They're not doing anything superhuman that you couldn't all do. The only difference is you don't necessarily know what their journey was like or how long it's taken them to achieve. You don't know what their eating habits are about, and all of that comes into consideration. So I would say if I was talking to myself at the beginning of my journey, I would say just be consistent. Don't compare yourself with others, and take your journey one day at a time. There's such a cliched, almost like repetitive things that people say to you all the time, but they're cliched because they make sense and they work. You know, if you're not consistent, then you can't build results over time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and one thing that I'd say, like I always say to clients and to anybody, what gets tracked gets measured. And along your journey, you were tracking it. I know that you used to send me over like, Mike, look at my stats and my body stats. Like, where's my body fat at? What's my muscle mass at? So I knew that you were on the right path because you were tracking it.
Which is something that I never actually used to do until I think when I first joined the men's 40 plus fitness program back in August with you and a bunch of other guys. I think wasn't really tracking body measurements, wasn't really using the body analysis machine. I was aware of it. I just had this thing about not wanting to like focus on numbers, but it's actually really important.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, basically I ran a government program for men in 40s plus to get them in shape over 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, the program was about just getting them into healthy habits, increasing with the outcome of them increasing their strength, working out, being more motivated, putting them in a positive environment. And Mikael was somebody that came into the program, and it was interesting to see him on that 12 weeks because I could see that he came far, but there was like a little bit of limitations in your belief. And there was one point that I was doing something and I looked over at him and I was like, yeah, you want some of this? And he looked at me back and he was like, yeah, I want some of this. And he walked over to it and he was like, let me have a go. And I was like, you want to have a... I did it on purpose, by the way. I don't over exaggerate. Like, you want to have a go.
Hang on, what was this exercise?
That was the dips.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh,
And then he
God.
was like, I could see him get really focused, and he went in and he was like, "Hey, I did it." And it was like a big shock.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared, and I just didn't think I was ready to do that yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you did it.
Yeah, it was all right, man. But I mean, I'm quite competitive anyway, and I have been for a while, and you know that is something that we just like.
Yeah, yeah. But since then, I think it was, what was it? I think it was 40 kg.
40 kg weighted dips.
Yeah. And since then, he's gone on to do, what have you gone on to do?
I've tried 60 kg weighted dips.
See that there. And he, at the beginning, he didn't even have to believe that he could do 40 kg.
Nah, I definitely didn't at the time.
Awesome.
I was like, this guy is trying to break my elbows. But you know, I had to try it. I was like, nah, let's just see. I think you have to try and experience things because you never know where you're at. Even if you do it and fail, it's like a marker. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're going on a long journey, how are you going to find your way back if you don't leave markers to, oh, this is where I've been? How are you going to know what it's like to travel somewhere without going, oh, I've got to travel here and see what this part of the world's like? Like you can't form a realistic opinion of yourself, you know what I mean, without having some sort of marker. So, yeah, like I definitely believe in now trying things out. I don't even care if I'm going to fail. Like it's not a worry to me. Whereas I think at the beginning of most people's journey, they're probably more worried about failing because they're new. It's a new experience.
Yeah.
But in actual facts, like it's actually also all part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel that like the gym community, we're all about developing, but also failing. And failing is like a really great feeling of when you fail because you want to see where your limits are.
Yeah.
And if you keep on pushing it, you're going to fail. And you'll be like, right, I failed at this part. And then you can come back and then try and push it again and see if you get to that mark or be on it. So if you guys, if any of you like training out there and like listening to Mikael, what he's actually saying is fail and fail hard. And then that way you can always improve.
Honestly, it's you hear that statement a lot, but you...
Replace habits, Netflix marathons, fast food.
Oops, sorry. I don't know where that came from. My phone started to talk to me.
The phone wanted to get involved, you know. Oh gosh.
That's why you're supposed to put your phone on lock, anybody. Yeah, if you're listening to this, make sure you put your phone on lock.
But yeah, I mean, the failing is something that we hear quite a lot. Fail, and you hear this a lot from people who say, you know, successful speakers, and that's part of, or even successful like entrepreneurs, people who are starting out in business, people who are still in business, people who are creatives. Failing is a huge part of anything in life because once you've failed and you've hit rock bottom, there's only real one way to respond to that. You either overcome it or you learn and understand something like vital about yourself. And if you take that into the context of being in the gym, a really common example of failing is when you try to lift a weight that you've never done before. You try to hit a PB. And you know, you're at the top of your first rep and you just can't quite get that extra push. You know what I mean? You just feel like, damn, I really wanted to nail that. But it's fine because you now have a marker of what it feels like to fail at that weight. So all you're gonna do then is you work on, well, what else do I need to do to build up to overcome this failure? For me, it was going from, say, 38 kg dumbbell press, and I was like, I really want to try and get to 46 because that will take me closer to 50. But in order for me to get there, I had to fail and feel how heavy that was, and it was real heavy. So I had to focus on other things, smaller problems, to fix that one. And all I did was focus more on tricep, because I knew that the triceps would help me to, you know, building my triceps would help me to lift and push more weight. So I started doing more weighted dips. I started doing more press-ups. I started doing higher volume on flat bench press with the barbell. And I did that for a number of weeks. And I thought, let me come back again and see how it goes. So that's all failure does. Is it just helps you to realize where you're at and what things need to be worked on.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So what problems were you having before you actually came to actually speak with me?
In terms of before the class or just right before at the
Well,
beginning?
There was two stages. There was before, okay, before we worked together as a group, and then during when we were doing the group sessions as well.
Oh yeah. Wow, there was a lot of challenges, frustrations. I think a few of them was already spoke about, but one of the big challenges for me was just the confidence to feel comfortable with what do I need to do with my workouts. So that was playing a big part. Not really knowing if I'm doing the correct form. So I didn't know if technically I was doing the right things. You know, I'll go into the gym and I was turning up. But I didn't know what the quality of that workout was like. And I didn't have anyone that was accountable, who I was accountable to, because a lot of the times I was going to train, I was training in silo. I didn't have a gym partner. A lot of the people around me at the time weren't really interested in the gym. So I didn't have anyone to sort of like keep me on track or to help me to stay focused when times really got tough.
So that was moving on to, so we had the first part, didn't know what to do. And then the second part was like you're saying, didn't have a training partner and you just wanted to refine on your techniques before you jumped into whilst you were working with the group program.
Yeah, 100%. That was a major struggle, a major challenge for me. I think at that point, the motivation to keep me going was definitely set in, so, and that really helped. But I maybe wasn't tracking the right foods. I wasn't eating the right foods. I think my food portion, I didn't quite get right. I didn't really understand. I knew the types of food I had to eat, but I didn't realize about food portions, and I didn't know about protein shakes and protein powders. Everything for me was just very sort of like basic, rudimentary. I just needed more knowledge about my nutrition.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what frustrations were you feeling that we had to oversolve? That we had to come in and solve these problems.
Yeah, I mean the frustrations was definitely I felt like I wasn't maximizing my workouts, so that was frustrating because I wanted to see results and I wasn't sure that the form was good enough. So I'll get frustrated, even though I was still excited to go there. I was frustrated by these little things because I wanted the progress to be quicker, right? I wanted to see results more instantly. I know you can't just expect to have those things, but I wanted to see those things come in a lot sooner. One of the other frustrations was the times that I was having to go to the gym. I was struggling to find out when the best routines were. I think in the first sort of like 6 months of me going, I was always going to the gym after 9 p.m. But that was because, I had a busy family life. I worked full time. So the only way I could get my training timing was to go to the gym after everyone else has settled down. So that would be when children have gone to bed or, when the house is quiet, everyone's doing their thing and it's quiet. That's when I would finish what I was doing, chores, whatever you call it, eating food, and then go to the gym between 9 and 10 p.m. And that's when I was going.
So people always talk to me about perfect moments. When's a perfect moment to go to the gym? It seems like you didn't really have to have a perfect moment. You just had to make the time to actually go.
I was I was literally clutching at, is there a pocket of time here? I'm like, yeah, let me snatch that. I mean, I would love to have done mornings, but I'm not a morning guy, really. Plus as well, I have like commitments in the morning, doing the school run, having to get to work at a certain time. At the time I didn't have that flexibility. Although I would have liked to have tried mornings, it was out of the question. So it was just literally fighting for, well, this is when I'm free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, run us through the time when you realized that what you were actually doing was working for you, and you could see like the most growth. Was it before you? Was it whilst you were doing the 12 weeks program, or was it before that? Or
it's a good question. So there's two moments I'd say. One was during the program. It was a massive change for me, and the first moment came just before I joined the program, where I knew that things were working, things were changing. So this is a little story actually. It's just a short stories. I remember before, I think it was November. Yeah, November of 2022. I purchased some t-shirts online, right? So my wardrobe was looking dry, bruv. Like I had nothing to wear.
Yeah.
You know, I would avoid going out sometimes because I'm just like, I don't really have anything. I wasn't really that bothered. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite comfortable, laid back individual. But on this occasion, I really wanted to go out to this event, and I didn't have any clothes. I was like, I'll order some t-shirts. I sent a set of 3 t-shirts, right? Different colors. You just buy them in a set, and they just come as they are. So I bought the t-shirts, ordered them, and I thought, oh yeah, this is my size. I'm a medium. Of course I am. Like, I'm not a big guy. So I've ordered the t-shirts. They've arrived, and I remember this story. I was sitting in my living room, in the front room, and the t-shirts had came. I got home from work. I was excited. The packaging was nice. You know, it was a nice like Hugo Boss t-shirt. Packaging was crisp, and I paid a good price, decent price for them. So I bust one open, taken my my work shirt off, put on this t-shirt, stood up, and I was like, okay. I was like, I couldn't get the t-shirt to like sit properly. You know what I mean? It was like hanging. It's like, nah, yo, what's the fit like? So I called Simone. Simone, how does this look? She's just kind of gone, yeah, it looks all right. I was like, it doesn't feel all right. It feels weird. So I'm like, So I'm fussing around with the t-shirt. And anyway, the top part of the t-shirt felt okay, but it's the stomach. Basically, my stomach was what was changing the fit of the t-shirt. Okay. So everything else fit okay, but it was kind of like lifting up at the bottom. And I was like, this is a real problem. And I locked that moment into my mind and I stored it there. I was like, okay. I was going to send them back, but I was like, that's giving in. I says, I'm going to keep these t-shirts. And when you watch, when I'm able to fit in them again, I'll come for this t-shirt. So I remember in February of 2023. So remember, November is when I got these t-shirts. November, December, January. So yeah, 4 months time. 4 months after that, I tried the t-shirts on again and they fit nice. And that was the first moment I realized whatever I was doing from the first moment going into the gym was definitely working, because I wasn't measuring, I wasn't really weighing myself, but that was the first time that I could tell by just how clothes were fitting and how I felt. And, you know, subsequently I tried on jeans that I'd maybe felt a bit tighter. I was like, let me just see. And, jeans were not fitting me because there was too much space around the waist. And that was the first time I really realized the impact of the training.
So you can see that really, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who've got jeans, some old clothes that they used to love and they can no longer fit in, or a nice jacket and it's like just there hanging up looking at them. And like I say, Mikael's living proof to say that, don't chuck them away. You can still get in there. You just got to work to get in there.
Oh yeah. Plus, I'm tight. I didn't want to. I didn't want to give these t-shirts away. I was like, nah, I'm definitely keeping these. I was like, I'm not paying for like other things. Just inconveniencing myself. I was like, actually, do you know what? No, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna come back to this moment.
And do you know that is an awesome thing that you did, because I remember I was shopping with somebody, and they said to me, they were like, what do you think of this jacket? And I was like, it's a nice jacket. It was like, I think it was like a £400 jacket. And they went, they said they're gonna buy it bigger. And I went, why are you buying it bigger? You're already overweight. And you're saying to yourself that you're buying it bigger. So what? You're gonna stay big? I said, don't you think it should be the opposite way? Buy smaller and then work to fit in it. Yeah. And they were like, true things.
Yeah, it's good mentality, but yeah, I guess it's not natural to think that way. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm saying is you did. You had the t-shirt, you realized it didn't fit properly. You could have taken it back and said, I want a bigger size. But what would that actually be doing? That's saying that you're ready to accept it.
Yeah, it's true. The mentality wasn't there to make that change or to make that difference. It's only a small thing, but it's an important thing. You know what I mean?
These are the things that really count. So life right now, how does it look for you right now? Seems that you've gone through all these things with the training. How does your life look like right now for you?
So at the moment, I would say health and fitness and building like mental strength and everything that comes with doing fitness is definitely like embedded now. I'd say for the foreseeable future, it's a part of my life.
Do you feel that you've solved your problem?
I feel like I've solved a lot of those problems, the initial ones. There's always going to be problems and new challenges to face, but they're easier to sort of deal with and understand how to deal with them after going through completing some of your other challenges because you know it's achievable. So like now, I'd say life at the moment is that I have a routine, which I'm still keeping up, which is great. I have built in a way, I think I've built certain self-care awareness about things that I need and require that only I can do for myself. Because I think a lot of the times we don't really take that into consideration. You have to take your self-care quite seriously and pour into yourself. Do you know what I mean? That's a huge part. And that's the direct result of me training and just taking care of my well-being in that way. At the moment, I'm currently setting new goals, like fitness goals and health goals. Like my next goal is by April, which is around my birthday. I turned 44 this year. And one of the things I would like to do is to aim towards having a certain percentage of body fat. So that's an aim. I mean, it's not a real strict thing, but again, having these milestones is like good to have. So I want to be able to get to a point where I've lowered my body's fat percentage to like maybe just inside double digits. So like 10, 9, maybe. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. But also another goal is I want to be able to bench 140 kg, which I currently can't do. It's not the hugest number, but it's big to me. That's a goal that I'd like to achieve. And I'd also like to be able to dumbbell press 60 kg at some point this year. That might take a little bit longer to reach. Yeah. But I'm ready for the challenge.
And I heard that you're on the grapevine, you're doing a photo shoot as well.
I am doing a photo shoot. I don't really want to too much details because there's something cool like I want to do with it. But yeah, essentially I want to do a photo shoot because I want to have this as a marker in my life. Like, I'm 44. Average age that men live to is about 80 to 90 years old, right? So I'm at the halfway point, I would say, in my life. If I'm blessed to be here still, I would like to mark this point that I'm at. And I think what better way to do that than with visual representation. I want to have some photographs that have been taken, just so I can remember, if when I'm older, my children, grandchildren don't believe me, say, "Oh, you were never fit, Dad," or "Granddad, you didn't look like this." Like, well, there you go. There's the evidence.
There's the evidence. I love that.
You know what I mean? So yeah, a couple things happening that I'm kind of looking forward to. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Good. And mental space, like I say, now you've overcome some of your mental challenges as well.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, when you just generally feel good and you're eating better and you're training well, all of that impacts you, whether it's just emotionally, like spiritually, how you feel, but also like the actual chemicals in your body are balanced and feel a bit better. So you'll walk into a space maybe where you'd normally feel uncomfortable, you know what I mean? And you don't feel uncomfortable, or you don't feel as uncomfortable, you feel a lot more confident because your presence is just there. Your mindset is, well, if I've got from A to B, I'm going to be able to get from C to D. Do you know what I mean? And I just find that all of that helps with just building your mindset up as well. So there's, I don't have any issues in terms of what I'm able to achieve next. It's helped me to think that a lot more is possible. And I may fail, I may not get everything right, but the foundation is there for me to like try it out and never be afraid of trying new things out, because it's possible. You've reached that already.
Awesome. Listen, before we leave off, is there anything that you could share with any men that were in, coming up to that 40 marker, And, you know, there's some of the hindering thoughts that probably you've had when you're in your 40s, and they're probably going through it, because I do hear them, I'm too old and I don't think it's possible. What would you share to them, seeing that you've gone through this transformation, you've got stronger in your later ages? What stuff would you tell them to inspire them?
Man, you know what? It's a tough one, because I feel like that inspiration has to come from, it has to be relevant to your life. I could say these things, but they're really just relevant to me. But one thing I would say is, if you are serious about your journey and wanting to make a change, you have to look yourself in the mirror and have to be able to say, I want to make this change, and you have to be accountable. You can't, that change that you want cannot be, you can't rely on someone else to ignite or kickstart that. It's got to come from internally. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to sustain. So I would say you have to find your purpose wanting to make that change. I would say that's number one. Number two, if you've had any sort of like real pain or struggle in your life, use that as fuel. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it hits different when you're in the gym and you're banging some weights, or you're on a treadmill, you just locked in on something, and you just think of, I know it sounds kind of toxic, you know, but everyone's done it at some point.
Listen, I get where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying?
You haven't even finished the sentence.
Right.
I'm like, right.
It's kind of toxic, but you know what you have to do? You will come across pain, and you will come across real challenges. You've got to use that fuel, man. Use that to fire you and to propel you to reach to that goal, because that's how you surpass these negative feelings that you might have attached with a situation or a person, is moving past it. And it's not like to say, I'm better than you. You've actually just outworked that negative feeling because you've used it as fuel. And actually, once you get past that, you no longer care. So take that and use it. Do you know what I mean? 100%.
Nah, some blessed words there. Listen, yo, it's been a pleasure hearing your story, hearing the transformation, what you've gone through. Listen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're going to end it on here. But like I say, special guest, Mikael. And like I say, if you want to find out, he's on Instagram. What do you you're going to be sharing some more of your stories about what you've been doing on your journey. Where can I find you?
Yeah, so I'm currently on Instagram. Just search Mikael Ledford. That's it. I've just kind of started sharing my Instagram journey and what that looks like. Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting, because the journey is really just about showing what I've been through and how it might be able to help people along the way.
Do you think you might put a tune to it? Because I know that you produce music as well.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think this is another reason I'm doing this is because I just like being creative. My background is in like design and animation and being visual. And if I get to do that on a daily basis, it feeds my soul. You know what I mean? And this is a venture where I'm going to try and deliver stuff in a visually appealing way that's easy to take in for people. Two of my biggest passions, being creative and being fit and healthy. So, you know, why not combine that together?
Love it.
Yeah.
So you heard that, 2 core values. Values are very important. They're the things that drive us. So if you haven't got your values in check, you need to refine where your values at and head for them. Let's go, people.
Nah, man, cool. Thanks for having me as well, man. Like, big respect.
Pleasure always, Mikael.
Yeah, man.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.